Hi, welcome to what I've read this year so far. So January, February, April, May. Wait, no, not May, March. I think I've read 17 books so far, which is pretty good. Actually, I don't know if I read that many. It might have been 16. I don't pay that much attention. I have them next to me, but I didn't count them. I've read 17 books, which means I'm one book ahead of schedule as of May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Why did I do that? Okay. Well, I'm 17 out of 50 because my goal is 50. And I'm one book ahead of schedule. So the very first book I read this year, I'm going to have to move this stack just to see it. So we're going back to January. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, you'll have to see that. Okay, first book I read it January 1st in one day. It was fabulous. 5 stars, I'm pretty sure. Don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure it was 5 stars. Better than the movies. And then this one's luckily more towards the top. The Red Queen. So better than movies. I'm absolutely in love with this. And I don't even I remember stuff, but I know the general idea and I know I loved it. I mean, you've probably seen this everywhere if you're watching my video. So go read it if you haven't. I didn't want to because I was like, it's probably cheesy and whatever. It was cheesy and it's good. Okay, next book, The Red Queen. I don't remember much, and I do need to continue the series. So I'm probably gonna have to reread this or read a summary or something before I reread it. So I think I need to see, I think probably 4 stars. Yeah, I rated it 4 stars, which I think is pretty fair. It was good. It was pretty good. Although I did read the next book, which I think is probably next. And it wasn't as good. So yeah. Glass Sword. That was the next one I read, and then I also once again don't remember much, and I would say it was probably 3 stars. Actually, I rated it 5 stars. I don't know. And then my very last book I read in January was The Party by Natasha Preston. I love her books. She never, her books are always, bingeable. I think once I actually started reading it, I read it in one day. But as long as you, you just have to get, a good, 50 pages in, and then you'll be able to binge it. I do love her books. And I think, I would say probably, a 3.5 or something. Her books are good, and they're easy to read. But they're not, the most beautiful written, but, how beautiful are you supposed to write, a thriller? Really? So, maybe 4. No, 3.5. I would say 3.5. And I rated it 4, so. That concludes January. A recurring theme in my reading is I only read one book in February. Because last year I read The Cruel Prince. That's the only book I read that month. This time I read Dance of Thieves, which I really loved. I just couldn't get into it. I was kind of busy, which is why it took so long. Same with the next book. I was just busy. I rated it 4 stars, and I do definitely recommend it. It's really good. Enemies to Lovers. Everyone should read it if you haven't read it already. Although I did damage my book, which was annoying. So that concludes February. And then the first book I read in March was Vow of Thieves, which is even better. I know I rated it 5 stars. It's amazing. It's a perfect one of the most perfect duologies ever. 6 of Crows, and these are probably my favorite duologies if I'm just thinking, although I don't know if I've read any other duologies, so I don't know if I can really say that. And then next I read, gotta grab it, A Curse for True Love, which I'm pretty sure I rated 5 stars because I just love the series. 5-star series. Even if I think actually I rated the entire series 5 stars. I love this book. I love it. I don't know, if you haven't read this art, just read it. You'll love it. I promise. The series, Once Upon a Broken Heart. Read it. See, I loved the book so much, and I didn't I just wanted to read this, so I didn't annotate it. I don't annotate, really. Next, I think, well, in the next bit are some of my favorite reads of the year, probably. Probably my favorite read of the year. I have 2 favorites. This one, Sunrise on the Reaping. If you haven't read it, already read it. What are you doing? Obviously, it's Haymitch's story from the Hunger Games, and I love Haymitch so much. I always have, and this just like increased my love for him and like my sympathy for him, empathy for him. I don't know. It was just so good. It made me cry so many times, and I read it in like, I think it was 3 or 4 days. I already know it's 5 stars. I'm not even gonna look. And the next one, which I believe I started before reading Sunrise on the Reaping, was The Brothers Hawthorne, but I finished it after. So The Brothers Hawthorne. The issue with this is, it's not, I don't like that you're just following 2 different things in one book. Like, I feel like you could have had 2 different novellas and included both the stories, although they do interconnect. So maybe you could have just not. I feel like, yes, Grayson's was important, but it also didn't, like, for his development it mattered, but it wasn't like, I don't know, it was like something that should have been the main focus of the book, or one of the main focuses of the book. Why'd I stutter there? Well, yeah, I think I rated it 4 stars, but I'd say maybe like a 3.5. Yeah, I rated it 4 stars, which I think is fair, but it's also like, you don't have to read this. The rest of the series and like every other Jennifer Lynn Barn book is really good. So if you don't like this, don't feel deterred after you read like other books, whatever. Okay, 2 more books for March. Next one, The Lightly Carry, 5 stars. Michelle Obama, if you can't see, got her. Well, I hadn't like been scared to read this because I got this at Costco in May last year, and I kind of just got it slightly as a joke, kind of, not really. I mean, but it's like this book, it's only about like 300 pages, I believe, and it does teach a lot of important lessons and gives you a lot of insight into the life of Michelle Obama, and it made me really feel for her and stuff and learn a lot about like how I can better myself. So I do really recommend this for anyone like, I don't know, 13 plus, probably. The last book I read, which wasn't really that good, was The Midnight Game, which it's quick read. I read it in 1 day or 2 days, probably 2 days, but it's a really quick read, but I don't recommend it. I think it's 3 stars. If I didn't already say that, I probably already said it, but yeah, it's probably about 3-star read. I do not recommend it. It wasn't the best. Like, I have a different Cynthia Murphy book, and I would recommend this one more than I would recommend this one. Her books aren't maybe they're good reads, but they're not like, sometimes I feel like they're a little immature, even for young adult, but they also aren't, because like, they are very violent, which is very conflicting to me, because they feel like they're written so juvenilely, but they're so like horrific. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, but like 3 stars. And then on to April, which I think is the most I've read in 1 month. So the first book I read was on spring break, and it was The Maze Runner, which I did like this. I don't necessarily understand why it was so popular ages ago. Like, I think it was good. It's just, I rated it 3 stars, but it's like, I'm guessing the series will get better as it goes on. I don't know what else to say. I meant to read it, but I kind of got stuck in the Scorch Trials, so I just didn't end up reading it, and I moved on, because that's what you do when you don't know if you're gonna like something or not. Move on and then come back to it at a different time when you want to read it. So that was the first book I read. 3 stars. Next, I read probably also one of my favorite reads. I don't read novellas, but I read this because I heard that it was really good, so I read it, and I love Powerless, and this is so pretty. Love it. And it has a bookmark too. Well, I read it. 5 stars, obviously. I love Adina and I love Mac. They were so good together, and not gonna give any more spoilers if you haven't read the Powerless series, but if you do, you'll cry when you read it, okay? So this is the first book. Not the first book. I had already read Powerless and Reckless, and I read this, but I read this in like one day. So like, it's probably better to read Powerless, Powerful, and then Reckless, but it doesn't matter that much, but you should read it before you read Fearless, I would say. Probably my favorite book of the year, Fearless. I've seen so many negative reviews, but I've also seen like just like outstanding reviews. This book is really, really good, and I really, really recommend it. Even though it's like, what? How long? It's nearly 600 pages. I still recommend it. It might even be over 600. I'm not sure. No, but it made me cry so many times, and of course that's why I recommend it, because I cried so many times, and the series is just amazing as a whole. And I also love my stack. Like, hold on. My stack. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna put those back on the shelf. But seriously, you need to read the Powerless series. I don't care if you didn't like Powerless, if you didn't like Reckless, read this, because Fearless is amazing. Same with Powerful. Both are amazing. And honestly, I'd say this is the best book in the series, and then Powerful, and then probably Powerless, and then Reckless, which they're all amazing. So, read them. Read them. Read my favorite series. Next book I read was also really good, and I'm also pretty sure I rated it 5 stars, which I did rate Fearless 5 stars if you couldn't tell. But I rated this 5 stars. It is very good. Lynn Painter writes some really good romances, and very fun romances, and easy to read. Like, I was just reading this on and on late at night one night. Yeah. Definitely recommend this. I do recommend most of the books I've read. I don't know if I recommend The Maze Runner, but I recommend Powerless, Betting on You. Pretty much everything besides like some of the thrillers I've read. Well, next book I read was The Grace Year, and this is a really good concept. I did enjoy it. Well, enjoy it. I don't know if enjoy is the right word once you've read this book, but it is a really good book. It's just I felt like the ending, not the ending, but like some of the stuff leading up to the ending, like I think it's like the climax, I don't remember. It didn't feel like it should have been there, and it felt like there was a romance, okay, and it felt like that was so not developed at all. It was just, oh, they start to like each other. I don't know. I don't even know why I don't think there should have been any sort of like romance in this book, and maybe I missed something that like made it not a romance, maybe. I don't know. This is not a romance novel. I think this is horror. I think I looked at it. I thought it was like dystopian, but I think it's horror, which does make sense. I do recommend it, but I still feel like it shouldn't have had any romance in it, and it could have focused on like the development with the girls and whatever more, or maybe her personal development. I don't know. It might be in the last book I read, which was pretty good, but actually I think I rated it 3 stars. It wasn't. I'm hoping the rest of the series will get better, but it's Watchme. I don't know how to say her last name, but you probably know her if you know the Shatter Me series. I think I rated it 3 stars because I kind of also, once again, I didn't feel like the romance in it was like needed. Like, I didn't feel like there was enough development to include the romance yet. And that's the thing about like Shatter Me. They didn't like each other really in Shatter Me. They liked it, and like they started liking each other. Honestly, I'd say maybe in Ignite Me, well, okay, obviously Warner always liked Juliet, but they didn't like start like showing that they liked each other in a semi-normal way until like Unravel Me or Ignite Me. And then the rest of the book series was really good, but I still feel like she could have written that a bit better if she was gonna include the romance right away, because it was like, oh, I'm gonna save her. Why? Give up everything you have just to save this person who could be trying to kill you. I don't get why we would do that, and I don't think we should do that. But 3 stars. And in conclusion, I don't know. I really don't know what to say. So in conclusion, goodbye. not goodbye. So in January, I read 4 books. And then in February, I read 1 book. In March, I read 6 books. And then in April, I also read 6 books. So, tall stack. So in conclusion, I read 17 books, and I rated most of them good rankings, besides a few, which don't recommend those ones. Goodbye.